Welcome back, Flipboard fam. This is your favorite coach, Jeffrey, and I have another amazing guest here today. I have Mr. Mitch Rosenberg from KinderLab Robotics.
Great to meet you.
Great to meet you too.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure so far.
Yes, Mitch, can you give us a little bit of information? Tell us about yourself and how you got into robotics and how does that work into a school setting?
See, I got into robotics because I went to college for engineering.
Gotcha.
And I got to really love how you can use technology to do things that people need.
Mm-hmm.
I actually started out in large, high-tech firms, and I found I didn't love the culture in the really large firm.
Yeah.
So I went to startups where people had really fresh ideas, sometimes ideas that were very possibly not possible. That's a strange sentence, but it's really true. And I loved startups. One of the startups I worked at was a robotics startup that automates warehouses. Eventually, Amazon bought that company. And I was thinking, while I was there, while I was trying to hire people in my department, I found it was really difficult to hire people who reflected the diversity in America. And it wasn't because we weren't interested in hiring them.
Yeah.
It was because you couldn't find people at the experience level in technology that we needed.
Mm-hmm.
And when that company got sold and I wanted to start a new company, I thought, what could I do that would make it possible for people to get excited about STEM at an early enough age that their interest in STEM isn't socialized out by the time they're in high school?
Yes.
What if you didn't teach language until high school?
Oh, we'd be in trouble.
We'd be in trouble.
Right.
What people don't realize, it's true about STEM also. If you want to have universal language literacy, you start in pre-K or earlier. Why is it that we start STEM in middle school or high school and expect the same result?
Exactly.
That's impossible. So I socially met a woman who is a professor of early childhood education. She had been working all her life on how do kids actually learn STEM. And what she found was that the ideal time was before adolescence. And the reason is because kids are often socialized out of being interested in some things during adolescence as they're forming their identity. If they find that no one they know is in this field, then it's probably not for me. No one who looks like me is in this field, then it's not for me. There's a whole list of, it couldn't be for me. But that doesn't happen until adolescence. So if we can in fact get them to feel that they like STEM, that they have experience before adolescence, it's like inoculating them against those social messages. And then later in life, you can see more and more of them majoring in engineering so that people like me later in the future will be able to hire them.
Right.
That was our basic idea. And it's a lot of words, but I can summarize it in only three, which is we really believe it's necessary to have universal STEM literacy. And the corollary of that is you gotta start young. And the corollary of that is you got to start age appropriate for young.
Yes.
So those three make sense. And my business partner had this idea for how to do it because STEM is actually very abstract. And coached by somebody who's been in education all this time, abstraction is something that develops over time in a child.
Right.
You don't find 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, even 6-year-olds are great at abstract reasoning. So you have to start with something concrete. In fact, that's why young kids learn better with something in their hands and when they're moving their muscles somehow. She invented, her name is Professor Marina Bears. She's at Fawton College. She invented this robot, which is intended to be a blank slate for young kids. I'm taking all the parts off because we want the kids to build it themselves.
Wow.
It should be age appropriate for a 4-year-old, which means even an adult should be able to build it. Her big innovation was to take the abstraction of what computer code looks like and boil it down to wooden blocks with pictures on them. A 4-year-old knows green means go. So that's the first block in your program. And then after that, you can just peg blocks together. Each block essentially corresponds to a line of code. And red means stop. And that's a program. That's a sequence of instructions that a 4-year-old can understand even if they can't read because there's little pictures. That's a way for them to start thinking about programming the way a sophisticated computer scientist would, but without the abstraction of computer code.
Yeah.
So our innovation is to take this abstract idea, make it concrete, and then give the student the power to build the robot that can do this code.
Wow.
And I would demo it for you, but it may take a while for me to set up. Yeah, maybe you'll come by.
We'll come by the
see
booth
that
and then
later.
we'll see.
But that's the
how you
basic
guys did.
idea, and that's the rationale behind the idea.
Wow.
And you asked who I am. I'm a high-tech guy. I have 2 master's degrees. One of them is in engineering from MIT, and the other one's in business.
Yeah.
And my motivation is, as I said, from my life experience and trying to solve a societal problem that I discovered as a high-tech entrepreneur.
Yes. That is amazing work. And I have some follow-up questions, but I'm just really amazed at how simple it is for computer programming. Like this right here, what benefits are y'all seeing when y'all give it to kids?
First of all, the kids love it because it's super accessible. And the second reason they love it is especially young kids. Think about when you were really young. You're not in control of anything in your life. But the first time they peg together a code and they build the robot and run the code, a big light bulb goes off in their head. I can control something in this world with my ideas. Where else are they going to learn that at an early age? If all they get is that, I feel like we've done our job.
Yes.
Because ever after, they'll teach themselves. So that's the big benefit is the kids walk. In fact, Marina did a study on young girls when they went through this program in STEM versus other programs in STEM, and she found that 67% of them answered the question, would you consider being a scientist or an engineer? As I would consider that. And the differential with other programs or no programs in elementary school was immense. That's a huge benefit that I can see right away. We don't need the world to be full of engineers. Honestly, if you run an art gallery, you probably still have to write an Excel spreadsheet.
Right.
And you're probably going to have to write a little code. The issue with the water supply in Flint, Michigan, where they messed it up, if politicians had some STEM thinking in their backgrounds, maybe we would have fewer problems like that and many others that really root to STEM thinking.
Yes.
So we want more people to be able to think in STEM ways, not necessarily to have STEM careers, but to just be informed citizens in what they do every day.
And become excellent problem solvers.
That's exactly it, because in the end, it's all just problems.
That's right. Mitch, you blew my mind with this, man. I wasn't expecting this, but thank you so much. This is amazing.
Entirely. I can go on all day.
What is this thing right here?
I'll show you that in a minute, but I want to show you one last thing.
Okay.
Because lots of adults, this iPhone is technology.
Yeah.
But the problem is kids look at this and they interpret that as, it tells me what I have to do to get what I want. We want them to look at technology and say, I can tell it what to do. I know that it's not controlling me. I'm controlling it.
Yes.
And the first step is to demystify what technology is. So we don't just let them build something. We show them what the stuff is. That's a microprocessor. I can't tell you how many 4-year-olds are thrilled to say, they go home and tell their parent, I saw the brain of a robot.
Yeah.
So demystifying technology so that it doesn't seem like it's magic.
Yes.
So it doesn't seem like it's inevitable. So that it seems like it's under human control. That's the other big thing that was an important part of our message.
Yes. It's under human control.
It's not autonomous. In fact, I'm going to get to the art in a minute. One thing that's new for us is my degrees in computer science from MIT, and lots of people majored in artificial intelligence back in the day. Now artificial intelligence is very fashionable.
Yeah.
The problem is people get the wrong idea of what it is because the name is a terrible name.
Mm-hmm.
Artificial intelligence makes it seem like it's you and me. But no machine is like you and me.
All right.
We have a free curriculum we're actually putting out for 4 to 11-year-olds.
Oh, wow.
Where they use this tool to get a sense of what does it mean to be artificially intelligent?
Yeah.
0 screens, 0 keyboards, no IT support, nada. But we want the kids to understand that artificial intelligence is a name for a machine that emulates how a human thinks, but is not the same as a human thinking. It's not the same as a dog thinking. It's not the same as a bug thinking.
Yes.
And we want them to, in fact, learn that as well.
So
this is something
catching my eye.
Yeah. What has this got to do with the robot? And here's what I got to tell you. I'm embarrassed to tell you that on the plane over late last night, after midnight, I was making this because we tried to tell our teachers and our kids, our students, never make a robot just to make a robot. Make it to be something. And the way to make it to be something is to decorate it with art. And we have all the hooks in the robot so that you can decorate it with art from the beginning. So you can make it act out of character, be a school bus, but make it into something. And so this is all I had in my bag. I wanted to demonstrate you could do art. You might ask, why am I bringing this to a demo? The answer is this. Every kid when they're 4 or even 6 or 8 doesn't think like a sequence of code steps or even think with their hand how to build something. Some people think in art. Some people think in narrative structures. Our goal is universal STEM literacy, which means I want even the kids who don't think in code and don't think in building to be able to have a way in. Art is a way to get kids who relate to the world first and foremost this way to be interested in this other literacy that we need them to know. It makes it more fun for them. It makes it more fun for the nerdy kids, or the more STEMmy kids as well, because they interact with each other and they see how they think differently and they each contribute something different. So it's an essential part of our curriculum.
I love that. Mitch, this is excellent information. Where can our listening audience find this, purchase it, bring it to their kindergartens? Like, how can they get it?
We have an online store, KinderLab Robotics, kinder as in kindergarten, lab as in laboratory, robotics as in robotics. Mm-hmm. We have lots of videos of teachers and students using this. I encourage people not to take my word for it at all, but to come to the booth and play with this stuff. What I tell the teachers is, if you haven't written a program ever in your life, in less than 4 minutes, you will write one, you will build a robot, and you will test it. Less than 4 minutes.
Wow.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed. That's a Mitch Rosenberg.
In fact, my goal is have a friend video it so you can bring it to your classroom and prove to the kids you did it.
I love it. Mitch, thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
Please. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your interest in this stuff.
The education landscape will have unprecedented innovation and creativity. With original ideas flourishing everywhere, educators can look forward to being engaged in more meaningful ways than ever before. Thanks to authentic approaches that provide just the right dose of individuality and imagination. At the same time, ethical considerations will become increasingly more important. So you have my word that I will stay fresh, original, and authentic. So like we always do about this time, let's collaborate, communicate, and educate with the best educators in the world right here on Flipboard EDU Podcast.